Welcome to BRAINELM Lab's channel. Here, our goal is to make you better aware of personal finance and other money and finance-related topics. Today, we're going to talk about something really important, something that affects millions of us in ways we might not even realize. We're looking at the hidden costs of growing up poor, what we call financial trauma. So let me ask you a couple of questions. Think about your own day-to-day life with money. Do you ever feel that little knot in your stomach when a bill shows up in the mail, even if you know you can cover it? Or maybe you find yourself buying just a little extra food at the store, just in case. Maybe you're someone who checks their bank account over and over again throughout the day. If any of that sounds familiar, I really want you to hear this. You're not alone. And this isn't just some weird habit you've picked up along the way. These feelings, these actions, they're actually very common responses to things we've experienced in the past. And there's a name for it. In fact, studies show that this response, this financial trauma, affects a huge number of people. We're talking about 68% of us. It's a massive shared experience that quietly shapes how we deal with our money every single day, often long after our financial situation has actually changed for the better. So, what's really going on inside our heads when we feel this way? Let's dive into the science of it all. It really comes down to understanding how our brains are wired to react to the stress of not having enough. The key idea here is something called hypervigilance. The best way to think about it is like a smoke detector in your house that's just become way too sensitive. It starts blaring at the slightest hint of smoke. Even if you just blew out a candle, there's no real fire. Well, your brain learned to be on high alert for money troubles to keep you safe. And for many of us, that alarm just never got switched off. So how does this happen? Well, the path is pretty clear. It all starts with a real experience of scarcity, a time when money was tight and stressful. In response, our brain learns this state of hypervigilance. It's a survival skill, really. And that state then pushes us to make what feel like safe choices with our money, even if those choices aren't actually helping us get ahead. Let's make this real. Picture a woman who has a good, stable job now. Her bank account is healthy. Logically, she knows she can afford her groceries. But every single time she goes to swipe her debit card, her heart just starts pounding. That anxiety isn't about her reality today. It's an echo from a time when spending even a small amount of money was a genuine risk. That's hypervigilance, right there in the checkout line. And this state of constant alert shows up in a lot of common ways. You might see people who are absolutely terrified of investing, which is extreme risk aversion. Or maybe they hoard cash in a savings account that earns almost nothing, instead of letting that money grow. For others, it's a real difficulty spending money on anything that isn't a bare-bones necessity, even a small treat for themselves. Okay, so understanding all of this is the first crucial step. The next part of the journey is about making a conscious shift in our mindset. It's all about moving from a place of just trying to get by, of just surviving, to a place where we can actually start to thrive. Let's look at these two mindsets side by side. On the left, you have survival mode. Here, your entire financial strategy is defense. It's all about playing to not lose. Every decision is driven by fear. But on the right, you have a thriving mindset. Now you're playing to win. The focus switches from avoiding loss to creating growth, and your decisions are guided by your goals for the future. Believe me, over a lifetime, the difference between these two is absolutely massive. Let's think about another scenario. Imagine a man who grew up very poor. He always kept a big stash of cash hidden at home, literally under the mattress, because he just didn't trust banks. That was his playing to not lose strategy. But after he started recognizing this fear-based pattern, he decided to try something new. He started investing just a small, regular amount into a simple index fund. He didn't get rid of his cash savings, but he started a new habit focused on growth. That's a small but powerful step toward playing to win. So where do we even begin with this? How do we start this journey? It's not about trying to forget the past. It's about healing it so it doesn't have a grip on our future anymore. This is about creating a new path forward for yourself. I love this saying because it's just so true. Think of your financial life like a tree. If the roots, your core beliefs, your past experiences with money, if those roots are damaged, the tree can't ever really grow strong and tall. Healing isn't about becoming a stock market genius overnight. It's about gently tending to those roots with a little bit of awareness and some self-compassion. Now, healing is a process, right? It doesn't happen all at once. So to make it feel less overwhelming, we always like to focus on one simple, practical thing you can do to get started. So here is your one action item for this week. It's really simple. Just observe. Try to notice one money habit you have that might be coming from a place of fear. Maybe it's that compulsive checking of your bank balance or feeling a wave of guilt after buying a coffee. When you notice it, the key is don't judge yourself for it. Just acknowledge it. And then just say this to yourself. This was a strategy that once kept me safe. That's all. This small act of awareness is the very first step in separating the past from your present. Recognizing where our financial behaviors come from, understanding our roots, is truly the key to building a healthier and more prosperous future for ourselves. Thank you so much for watching.